Now in this section I want to configure one of my areas as sub areas, and you know that we have 4 different sub areas. I want to see the effect of those configuration into my area, and I want to determine which one is the best to apply. So you can see that here I have an area 25 between switch 1 and router 2, and you can see that switch 1, any traffic that switch 1 generates has only one exit, and that goes through router 2. So switch 1 does not need such a big routing table. Let's go to switch 1 first. On switch 1, if I try to show IP routing table, you can see that this is a little big. You can see that I have all types of Ospf routes, inter-area routes that are from other areas. I have external routes here, and now I know that all of them go just one way, and they are all going through 10.0.25 too. So I do not need to have such a big routing table. I just can assign some type of configuration and make it a sub area, and I can just have one route, default route for all my networks. So I want to go to router 2, that is the ABR, and start configuration there, and of course I will have this configuration applied to all routers in this area. So let's go to router 2 first. On router 2 I go to configuration mode, and under router OSPF1 process I can assign area 25 as a stub. Now by hitting enter I need to apply this configuration on all routers in my area. So switch 1 is the next, so I go to configuration, and under router OSPF1 I hit enter after typing area 25 stop. Now you can see that the neighborship is resynchronized, and now I want to see the routing table. By checking IP route I can understand. Let me see what happens after resync. Now you can see that the resynchronization is happened. You can see that I have no external routes here now. I had external routes previously. You can see 2 external routes here. I do not have any external route here now, and of course I see a default route instead of those external routes. So I don't have OSPF LSA type 5, I guess. Let me check the OSPF database. So IP OSPF database tells me that there is type 1, that is the router, there is type 2, that is network, and there is type 3, that is summary, but I can see nothing else. I do not see any LSA type 5 that is external. So if you assign simple stub area to one network, you're actually removing any external routes, and instead of that you are adding a default route to this network. Now again, I do not need all those routes. You can see that every route is advertised through router 2, and again you can see that any traffic that I generate goes through router 2. So because this is going to be only one-way exit, instead of having externals in one way and other routes in another way, I have only one way to exit. I can assign other type of configuration. I can go to router 2 and tell that area 25 is stub, and after that I can assign the no summary, and this tells me that I am not sending any summary LSA. So it tells me no summary LSA actually. So I hit enter, and because the summary LSAs are created on ABRs, I do not need to assign this configuration to switch 1. Switch 1 only needs to have area 25 stub. And of course it doesn't hurt to add no summary to switch 1's configuration, but there is no sense in that. You can see that the only ABR is router 2, and the only router that generates summary LSAs is router 2. So I tell router 2 to generate no summary LSA by using the no summary keyboard. So let's go to switch 1 now and check the IP routing table again. Now you can see that there is no type 3 LSAs, and only there is one default route. And if I check the IP OSPF database again, you can see that type 3 LSAs are all gone except one, and that is the default route that I just added here. And in this case this is a very nice feature added to this area, because switch 1 now has a very small routing table, and it is actually reflecting anything. So if I try to ping any network from switch 1, you can see that using ping 110, for example, 133, you can see that this is successful because I can still reach the network and I do not need any more things here. So this is one way. So the other type of sub areas are not so sub areas. So I do not have a nice configuration here to show this, but I will define one in next section.